Hi there. Thank you so much for clicking the thumbnail and being interested in my work. In this video I share with you my techniques and tips on how I drew this white top. So be sure to watch it right through to the end, because here and there I'll be slowing things down so you can take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. Right, so here we are where we left off after part 2. These are the basic colours I'll be using, the primary colours and one secondary colour, which is the complementary colour to the blue, which is orange. I'll talk to you more about that as we go along. First thing I do would be the underdrawing. So what I'm doing here is using the tone of the board for the half tones. So just putting pressure on the pencil more in the lighter areas and less where it's mid-tones, and none at all where it's shadow. So you're just using the board to get the tones. The reason I adopted this method is that it gives me more options then for when I put the richer colours on, and so you've got texture in some areas and not in others. So you really need to keep that option open by just doing a light drawing and not too heavy with the pastel at this point. Once you've done it in white, then just glaze over in places with red and blue and yellow occasionally if you needed it. And what that does then, it just puts a little bit of colour over the underdrawing, so then when you start putting the white on there, the white is not too stark. When you start putting the heavy colour on, it mixes in with this little bit of a glaze you've put on. What I tend to do is to put the brightest parts in first and then the darkest, and then work inwards from there. Now I've introduced a grey, which is very similar to what I'm looking for, so I'm using that to sculpture the tones and then going over that sculpture of the tones with the primary colours. What that does, it really gets the subtleties correct then. So when you just use grey and white, you get the tone of it, but then you just put those subtleties in there by changing that grey into what colour you need. Now you've got to be patient with this as well, because it will look a bit scratchy to start with and a bit like unfinished, but it does take time to build it up, but you just keep working on the same principle, putting the grey in, going over with the white, sculpturing the shapes, then glazing over with red, blue or yellow, just to get the correct sort of tone you want. Now for the real highlights I use the Caran white and the Rembrandt stick as well, you'll see me using in a bit. So for the really highlights, that's what I use for that, and then to sort of blend it, I'm using the Carbothello, which is a bit chalkier. If you're getting value from this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Here you can see me using the Rembrandt stick, obviously white. It's very rich in pigment, so it really gives that vibrant feel to the drawing, so I'd really recommend buying one of those. I have left a list of materials in the description below if you want to have a look at that later. Now I use the orange as well, mixed with the blue, which makes obviously a natural grey because it's complementary colour. So if you're wanting that blue to be toned down, just put a bit of orange with that. It will subtle it for you. If you would like to support me on Patreon, I'm now offering an exclusive 4-hour-long video plus a step-by-step exclusive video every month. To find out more, the link is in the description below. So now to the other side of the shirt, and what you can see again is me using the grey and white to sculpture the shapes, just taking your time, using the Carbothello white and the grey. It's a grey which is a very similar colour to what the grey you're needing, but it needs to be subtled up, you see, in places with the primary colours. My approach to pastel painting is to actually just relax, let go of the mind and focus on the heart, and connect to the subject by projecting the art out to the subject, and you'll be surprised what energy comes back. It sort of amplifies that. Now, you might think, well, it's just a piece of cloth, but it's more than that, because there's energy shining through that cloth of the person who's wearing it. There's energy, the aura around the person's head that you can sense over or around the cloth. Now, to connect to that energy, you have to open the heart. It has to come from the heart and not to overthink it. So to connect to this subtlety is that's the key, really, is just to relax, open up, and just sense rather than think. If you're enjoying this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? It would mean a lot to me, as this would help the channel to grow. Now, you've probably noticed I've not used any tools to actually blend the pastels. What I tend to do is actually use the pencils to blend each other, so it's using the pencil over pencil. And a great way I've found anyway in blending is to use the Carbothello white, because it's quite soft but not too soft, but it helps to blend. It's a bit chalkier, so when you mix it with the other colours, it sort of blends out naturally. So I tend to sort of use that, so it's pencil over pencil rather than using like blending tools. And with it being titanium white as well, it really mixes well and gets that subtlety of blends. So it's a great titanium white is well known for that, is really great for getting the tones. Here's the selection of colours I'm using for the buttons. Basically it's yellow ochre, ultramarine blue and the umber brown, and just using colours to highlight here and there, different colours. It's just a case of playing about really and see what works. If you would like to see longer and more in-depth videos, please join me on Patreon. Link is in the description below. The cast shadow of the buttons on the shirt, I'm using blue and orange, which are complementary. Using the Rembrandt stick white is amazing really, just lifts the drawing, just gives it that sort of extreme value for the highlights. On the final touches of the shirt, just open your vision so you see the whole of the shirt and then just sense where work needs to be done and then just go with the instincts. And do the same with the whole of the drawing, just sense what needs to be changed and then just alter accordingly. Here's the portrait at the correct angle as I saw it, because what you saw on the easel was in perspective. Thank you for watching the video right through to the end. If you found value in it and you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Appreciate it, would help the channel. Leave a comment and a message in the comments below. Let me know what sort of videos you want me to produce. I've actually left a couple of links here for you to click on, and to subscribe, click on the circle here. It's absolutely free and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much, take care and be well.